Hello, thanks for coming here. I'm going to go ahead and discuss our church management system that we've built in order to help churches deal with some of their visitor management, member management, communications, accounting, giving, and compliance work. So I've noticed a problem in the world of churches, where especially around compliance. So I'm David Roof. I'm a CPA. I work with a lot of different people about compliance, and I've had a lot of pastors reaching out lately with problems about their accounting and financial section, and dealing with compliance to make sure they stay compliant with IRS and other requirements. I built this system in order to help churches out with that, but also to really streamline communication too. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through all the pieces to this. I'd be more than happy if you would sign up for it, or if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me at droof@davidroofcpa.com. Be happy to help you out or walk you through whatever's going on. So this is the very beginning here. What you would do if you're first going is you would go ahead and click join. Now it'll take you to the same screen if you hit sign in. I have already created an account, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the account that I've created. So I signed in with Google. You can do it the other way through the email address. After it comes up here, I go ahead and hit my account. It will go through my account. Now, if you sign up, if you click the wrong one, it may ask you to create a new account. You can always go back and start over. All right, so once this goes ahead, it loads you directly to the dashboard. Now I've set up a church called Amazing under the Shepherd account. I've already preloaded a little bit of information in here in order to make it easier to get through this video. But the dashboard really just goes ahead and gives you kind of the overview of what's going on in the church. So we have uncontacted visitors, we have open care needs, empty volunteer slots. As of now, we don't have any. Lapsed members. As of now, we don't have any. These are some of the prayer needs I set up. So this is for test. That's the name I made them. And then visitor follow up. So we have Grady Jarrett. So I could just go right ahead and click on that. So if I want to go to uncontacted visitors, the first thing is this person here, right? John Jacobs has already been contacted, so they don't show up. I can set any information. I could go ahead and put anything in here that I know. I can mark I did this, or invite, right? I invited them to whatever it is I invited them to, such as a junior church or a church picnic or whatever. Down here under log contact, we could just say, okay, I emailed the person and this is what I said, or I went and visited, I sent them a card, or whatever it is that you do. It just helps you make sure that you're talking to people, following up with people, staying in touch with them, and that you're not going to let any visitors slip through the cracks, and hopefully get them to start coming to your church on a more frequent basis. Back here, open care needs. So we can go over here. I've put in a couple of open cares that need some help. So we've got hospital visits. These are all preloaded in here. Maybe you need to do a meal train for somebody, and you can pick any of the members that you have. You put a description, you can put some notes, what day it should be done, who it should be assigned to, in progress, or if it's over, you can click resolved and mark it as resolved. Back up here, so we go to the members page. If you want to add a member, so you have somebody new join, or you're just adding new people, you can set them up as Smith, and we'll do last name John, and the email will be john@smith.com. Do any of that. You can add them to groups if you want. You can put down what day they joined. Role, you can make them a member, deacon, elder, or pastor. And then when you go ahead, you hit add member. This does not give them access to this as of yet. You actually have to go ahead and send them an invite. And what will happen is this will go into their email address, where they can go ahead and accept it. If they've already requested access, which is one of the options, you can assign them. This person has not requested access, so it will not get there quite that way. But once they go ahead and accept the email, it will bring them in here, and they will have limited access. We'll go over that later as to how to limit the access. And the default is they have access to nothing, and you have to go ahead and give them approval to access everything. So going through this page, we have their name. We can mark them as lapsed. So if a member leaves or has not been coming and you want to pay attention to that, you can mark that as lapsed, and it'll notify you that you have lapsed members. Or you can restore. If you need to edit any information for somebody, you can do it there. If they're giving, now this will be affected by a couple different places. But if they put some money in the offering plate or something, you can mark it down here manually. We'll get to some of the financial things and how they can automatically get this populated. But for the sake of this, we'll go ahead and just put this here and say they gave $500 to the general fund, and we'll hit save contribution. They can come in here and download their own tax letter. And what it'll do is it'll generate for them a tax letter that's got all the correct things on it for them to be able to claim this on their tax return. And how much money they give over the period. And as you can see, if they needed one for a previous year, we could do, I'll say that they gave in 2025, January. Let's do $500, save contribution. They can now pull out the 2025 one and get that tax letter for 2025 so that you don't have to go through and reprint these for people. It is readily available. If they do need help, you can pull it down for them though. If there's any care items that you want to assign to them, so let's say they are sick, you can go ahead and do bereavement, and we can, let's say hospital visit. There we go. Smith John, we can say in hospital to remove toes. And we can assign somebody to go and visit with them. But what will happen is it'll then pop up here, as well as right here, saying that there's stuff that needs to be happening here. Then we can assign them to ministries. So if there's any ministries, you could have put that there through the edit button. There's also attendance, so we'll go through that in a minute. Visitors, we went through here, but if you want a new visitor, you record the visitor, put it in here. You can say we had Betty Lou, and her email if you have it, phone number if you have it, visit date, how they heard. So let's say they Yellow Pages. It's an old way to do it. Record the visitor, and you can go in and make your notes like we were talking about earlier. Remember to send a thank you note. Remember to invite them to things, all of that. Log your contacts that you made with them again. If you get any new information, you can add that in here. All right, care and prayer. So there's a couple of different options in here. You can go ahead, select any of these. If you want to really bring it up to somebody's attention, mark it as urgent. Assign a caregiver. You can assign somebody, or you can leave it open, and somebody can go ahead, a member can go ahead and accept that they'll do it. It's like if you're doing a meal train or something, somebody could go ahead and assign themselves to it to help. Events. So events are something that if you're doing a church picnic, if you're going out to an outing, if you're going to have a wedding, anniversary, something like that, you can create a new event. Let's just say we're going to do a church picnic, or let's July 4th is coming up. July 4th picnic. Meet at City Park. We'll do this on, probably do it on July 4th. And we'll do it at City Park. Event owner, so you can go ahead and you can put somebody in charge of it. We're going to put gotta go in charge of it. If you want to set a budget for it, you can say here's how much money we're going to put aside for it. We're going to do this, or you could say we're just planning this at this point, or it's currently going on. Create that event. Then you can have a task list. So this is something all the members can see. So the person who created this event could say, okay, we need to call the park to reserve a place. And then we can say we need to cook food, buy drinks, tell everyone. All right, so as you can see, right now I've got 4 different tasks, and none of them have been assigned to somebody. I can go ahead and assign them, or when these people log in, they can come in and they can assign it to themselves. So I'm going to assign this one to Smith John, and then I'm going to do buy drinks to gotta go, and I accidentally did 2 of them to there, so test, I'm going to leave that 3rd one blank. When this is all over, I can go ahead and mark it as completed. All right, attendance. So if we want to take attendance, this would probably be very useful for like a Sunday school type class where you really want to make sure you're checking to see if the kids were in or not. You go ahead and you hit these people showed up, that person did not. When I hit save attendance, so if I go back to the members dashboard and I look at John Smith, it will say he was present. But if I look at Gotta Go was present and Test, they were absent that one time. And I can look at the full attendance record to see what was going on in there, who was at what different services that we were putting on. This will automatically add a new service date every Sunday. If you want to add in an additional date because you did some other things, you can go ahead and put them in there. So let's say we did a Friday service. Go ahead and add that in. And then we would have 6/5, which hasn't happened yet, so we can't put that one in. Oh, there you go. And then I can do save attendance, and it will now show up to them. All right, communications. If you want to create something, a newsletter, you want to tell people about a sermon that you did, you want to do some sort of, like we're doing some sort of help and a Sunday announcement, anything, you can go ahead, you can add an item, select the channel. So let's say you want it to be a Sunday announcement, bring dishes to pass. Content, please be sure to bring a dish to pass for the meal after church on Sunday. And you go ahead and schedule it. Content deadline, you got to make sure that gets out by Friday. Oh, I scheduled that for Saturday. Schedule date for Sunday. All right, and we'll say it's for the youth group. All right, add item. Now I can go ahead, publish it when I'm good with it. Once I publish it, I can notify members. And then that will go ahead. Oh, I don't have my emails configured at the moment. So I forgot this has to happen before you can email everybody. You have to configure your email. So you can use the Gmail settings. This has the instructions for how to do it. Okay. And then if you follow these instructions, what it will do is you will be able to send emails out to members automatically. Or when you do that, as of right now, I don't have that set up, so I cannot send that email out. But it would go to all members when you do that. Giving. So this also has the ability to do giving automatically, reoccurring, one time through credit cards. We use a service called Stripe to make sure this is all secure. Everything is done through the Stripe billing portal, meaning that nothing is actually taken care of inside of this. No credit card information, no banking information, no anything. These funds are directly deposited to your church's bank account. You would have your own Stripe login. You would have your own Stripe setup that you do. You do this all, you set that all up on settings. Underneath here, I have already set it up, but you can go to the Stripe dashboard, which I will pull up. Now, I did set this up for a business that I own, so it's not a church. This is a business. But we don't use Stripe for that, so I was able to set up an account separately on here so you can just kind of see what's going on. And then it will give you ideas or how your church is doing on credit card or other processing, people giving. It just takes it a few minutes to load sometimes. And it'll give you some details to it. Coming back over here, when you go to the Give tab, so this makes it as easy for members to do as possible. They can either make a reoccurring gift, weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. They can choose where it's going to go, to the general fund, the missions fund, or the building fund, and how much. So if you wanted to go to the general fund and you wanted to do $100, and you wanted to add another fund and do the missions fund and do $50, you can do that, and you set up the reoccurring here. It will then take them to Stripe in order to put in their banking or their credit card information. And that way it's just going to be a continual thing, and then they can set it and forget it and don't have to think about it anymore. Don't have to worry about it. Don't have to forget. It really does help your church budget correctly and know what is coming in, especially when people go ahead and do reoccurring gifts. We'll go back to the page. And what that then does is you can also do a one-time gift if you don't want to set this up to be reoccurring. If, as an admin, you want to set up a new fund, so I have these 3 already set up in there, you can add a new fund called special projects, right? Building projects, remodel the fellowship hall, create fund. All right, and then after that's created, you can go ahead and it will take a few minutes to get here, but eventually it'll show up the allocate your gift to the remodel the fellowship hall or the building fund. Only admins have access to this. Nobody else has access to this because we don't need members adding in their own funds. All right, there's a finance tab. You can go through the finance tab. What it does is it gives you it's the accounting function for your church. As of right now, I've loaded some transactions in, and clearly this church is not doing super well, but that's okay. I'm sure they'll turn it around. There's the overview. This is just a snapshot of income and expenses. And then we have tithes and offerings, pastoral. We have a budget down here. It'll only show things that have activity. If there's no activity, it'll show nothing. Giving, this gives you an overview of what's been given or what's scheduled to be given for the church. It just kind of gives you an idea of how it's going and to what fund it's going into, so that you know that if you're doing a building fund, it'll show, okay, all this money is showing up to the building fund. Transactions, so this is how you do the actual accounting. So as you can see, I've loaded in some transactions already just by doing an import. So I did it to the general checking. There's different ones set up by default, which is the general checking, the savings. This one is what we created, the building fund account, the petty cash, credit card, accounts payable. If you have different accounts, you can set those and put those in there. So like sometimes people have general checking and then a payroll account or something like that. Now, as you can see, none of these have been categorized. So it will not be very useful if these aren't categorized. So what you have to do is go ahead and edit them. And what that means is that you have to hit add lines, and let's see, this was money in. So we'll say it came from John Smith and it was youth ministry fund. And we'll save that change. So now that $140 is categorized. It's getting there. Oh, I need to put that in one more time. Youth ministry fund, $140.25. That's what I forgot. And then hit save changes. Now we're good. All right, now if you look at the overview, it will say that $140. I'll have to look to see why it's doing that. Minus 140 as opposed to $140 positive. But this is how you would do it, and this is how that would make that work. And then when you come over to overview, it should be going up. It will be going up here after I play around with that for a minute. Gotta love these new buds. We'll talk about buds. If you do come across a bud, there's this little button down here that you can then share your feedback. You just have to go ahead and sign in, and then you can let me know what it is that you see that could be changed or maybe not changed, so that we can get that correct. We don't want there to be buds in our software. And then, all right, so let's move it on. Reoccurring. This will just show you what reoccurring things are coming in for budgeting purposes. For here, we have the budgets. You can set different budget items. So you can do $500 for the building fund. You could do youth ministry. Let's say it's $25,000. So you can set budgets to anything. If you want to add new accounts, you just go ahead and add the new accounts, and that will match up to what your church wants to see. And all it is you just do add account, type in the account code. So I would generally recommend sticking with accounting functions, being 100s are assets, 200s are liabilities, 300s are retained earnings, or budgets. Income accounts are 400, 500 are cost of goods sold, 600s are regular expenses. And you can choose that and name it however you want. When you set budgets, it comes over here to the overview tab, and you can see the annual budget to see a variance. You can do it monthly, and it'll do it monthly. You can do it quarterly, and you can see what the quarterly budget is. That way you guys stay on track. This helps you verify that you're where you're supposed to be, not overspending, not underspending, and this helps the boards a lot. Missions. So you come over here, you can add a missionary in. Let's just say we're going to do grade Paul. And they're going to be in church planting, and they're going to be in the country of China. And let's say they're with Amazing Grace. Email for them is greg@amazing.com, and then you can put their phone number, their website. You can set how much money you're going to do as a monthly support when you started supporting them. Brief overview if you want, any prayer requests that they may have, and then you can upload a missions photo, or you can upload a prayer letter for them, and then active or inactive if they're no longer active with you. And this will also give you an approximate. So if you had 10 missionaries doing this, you'd be at $18,000 annual commitment. Remember, this is looking at annual, how much monthly, how many active missionaries you have. All right, then you can do ministries. So as of now, I've only set up junior church, but you could add in, let's say choir, and then set the type out here as to what you want it to be. So we'll say it's outreach ministry. And the leader, you can assign a leader to it. We'll assign that to test, and we'll say it's Sunday, 4 a.m., early morning, sanctuary. I don't know how many people would show up to the choir for that, and whether it's active or not. And then you could have the leader come in here and they could assign tasks. So set up chairs, right? Set up chairs. Be sure to get the chairs from the fellowship hall. All right. And then we can leave it open for sign up, or we can say gotta go's gotta do it. And then it's gotta be done by then. Add task. And then gotta go can see they have a task to do. All right. And then compliance. So this piece is the part I've been really working on hard. This is to help churches stay compliant. There's a bunch of templates in here that they can use, how to use it, kind of what the ideas are for, a little overview of what needs to be done. Let's look at, we'll do the regular board meeting minutes. So we can come in here, we can look. When you hit this, it'll download the button, or download a template for you so that you can have something to follow. I'm not saying you got to use this. I'm just saying it's a template to help you stay on track. Pastor's compensation, that's a big one that I've been dealing with. So we can assign pastor's compensation, how we got to do it, when do we want to make this be done, how often does it need to be done, and then we'll say it's in progress, and we'll assign this to David Roof. And then we've got that. That's got to be done, and we can click that, pull up our template so that we have something to follow and make sure that we're doing this as correctly as possible. These things a lot of churches have been struggling with. Please, please, please feel free to reach out to me so we can help get that right. When you've finished whatever it is that you were working on, you can go ahead and you can hit done, and that'll clear it out so that you can do it again another day. Coming down here, this is where your settings are. You can sign up for our service. It is $20 a month or $200 annually. When you click on that, it will take you to Stripe to go ahead and do this. This is just an overview. If you want your church to collect money online, you have to go ahead and set this up yourself. It will walk you through. There'll be a little button for you to click to go to it. If you want to send out emails through this platform, you would have to go ahead and set this up. This is the instructions on how to do it through Gmail. If you're going through Outlook or something else, it is a little bit more complicated. Gmail is definitely the easiest way and probably the most common email server anyways. Small groups. So if you wanted to set up smaller groups, as of now, I don't have any small group breakdowns or anything. And then this just tells you what the application is called and that your account is active. Please feel free to use this. Feel free to try it out. There's a 7-day free trial set up on it. After that, it is the $20 or $20 a month or $200 a year. Like I said, feel free to reach out to me with questions. My email address is droof@davidroofcpa.com. Or while you're using it, you can always use this little button down here in order to put in any of your thoughts or feedback or problems that you might see. Thank you and have a nice day.